Want to know the truth about gender-based violence and 6 forms of it? Well, stick around to the end and I'll share some other shocking revelations. My name is Tracian and I'm a metamorphosis coach and a trauma therapist. We provide empowerment for survivors of gender-based violence in not just merely surviving, but sur-thriving. Welcome. Now today, we're diving into a crucial and often overlooked issue, gender-based violence. It's a topic that demands our attention and understanding. So let's jump right into it. Firstly, it's essential to grasp the gravity of the situation. Did you know that 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced some form of gender-based violence? This is an alarming reality that we need to address. Now, for a lot of persons, they might be asking, but what is gender-based violence? And in a nutshell, gender-based violence is any violence that affects a particular gender in an unbalanced or unfair way. And it is rooted in gender equality, the abuse of power, and harmful norms. Now, while women and girls suffer disproportionately, men and boys can also be targeted. And the gender-based violence knows no boundaries, right? It doesn't matter which race or identity you're from, one can be affected by this. And there are numerous types of gender-based violence. And we're going to touch on 6 of them today. And in another video, I'll definitely break them down further for you. The first one is domestic violence. Now, domestic violence is any violence committed by someone in the victim's domestic relatives and family friends. Now, the term domestic violence is used when there is a close relationship between the offender and the victim. And this is a learned behavior, right? And it is used to gain power and control over another person. And there are various types or forms of domestic violence, and we will speak about those in another video. There's another big term that you might hear from time to time, which is femicide. And femicide refers to the intentional murder of women because they are women, right? But it may be defined more broadly to include any killing of women or girls. And femicide differs from male homicide in specific ways. For example, most cases of femicide are committed by partners or ex-partners and involve ongoing abuse in the home, threats or intimidation, sexual violence, or situations where women have less power or fewer resources than their partners. And I'm going to give you some statistics here. Now, according to UN Women, in 2021, around 45,000 women and girls worldwide were killed by their intimate partners or other family members. And this simply means that on average, more than 5 women or girls are killed every hour by someone in their own family, while 56% of all female homicides are committed by intimate partners or other family members. Now, only 11% of all male homicides are perpetrated in the private sphere. Now, did you hear that? Now, the other one is honor killing. And honor killing is the murder of a family member, usually a woman or a girl, for the purported reason that the person has brought dishonor or shame upon the family. And these killings often have to do with sexual purity and supposed transgressions on the part of female family members, right? Another form of gender-based violence is human trafficking, big term, but in a simple nutshell, because we're here to break down the barriers so you simply understand them. And human trafficking is the acquisition and exploitation of people, or modern-day slavery. And it is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons through means such as force, fraud, coercion, or deception. And the heinous crime ensnares millions of women and girls worldwide, many of whom are sexually exploited. And there is a national task force against trafficking persons that's called NATFATIP, whose chairman is Mr. Courtney Williams. He said that an average of 10 persons has been reportedly trafficked in Jamaica per year. Now, the government has enacted the Trafficking in Persons Act in 2007, and amendments have been made in 2013 to increase the maximum term of imprisonment from 10 years to 20 years for persons found guilty of same. And there are other legislations that may be used to prosecute traffickers, such as the Child Care and Protection Act, the Offences Against the Person Act, and in instances where profiteering is observed, the Proceeds of Crime Act. So the NATFA was formed to handle 3 areas: the prosecution of human traffickers, the prevention of crime, and the protection of the victims. I'm going to touch on a very big one that I know a lot of you would not have known about. Maybe a few of you will hear about the term, but you might be wondering, but what exactly is it? It's called female genital mutilation, and this includes procedures that intentionally alter or cause injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons. And it is classified into 4 major types, and both the practice and the motivations behind it vary from place to place. We call it FGM for short term, for acronym, right? Now, FGM is a social norm, often considered as necessary step in preparing girls for adulthood and marriage, and typically driven by beliefs about gender and its relation to appropriate sexual expression. It was first classified as violence in 1997 via a joint statement issued by World Health Organization, UNICEF, and UNFPA. Now, according to UN Women, at least 200 million women and girls aged 15 to 49 have undergone female genital mutilation in 31 countries where the practice is concentrated. Now, in sub-Saharan Africa, 1 in 4 women and girls has undergone female genital mutilation. That's a lot of persons, right? But levels vary widely across countries. There are still countries where female genital mutilation is almost universal, where at least 9 in 10 girls and women aged 15 to 49 years have been cut, while it affects no more than 1% of girls and women in Cameroon and Uganda. Now, another one is child marriage, right? And it refers to any marriage where one or both of the spouses are below the age of 18. It is a violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. Girls are more likely to be child brides and consequently drop out of schools and experience forms of violence. And the final one that we're going to touch on today is online or digital violence or abuse. And this refers to any act of violence that is committed, assisted, or aggravated by the use of information and communication technology, which includes mobile phones, the internet, social media, computer games, text messaging, email, etc., right? And these are against persons. Now, online violence abuse come in different forms, and we're going to touch on those different forms in another video where I'm going to break down a lot of them. Now, for the shocking revelation that I would have mentioned, a lot of persons think that gender-based violence, it affects only some persons in some areas. Now, it doesn't have any boundary, it doesn't have any class, any race, right? It affects any and everybody, right? And there are a lot of persons who it has been affected, especially in corporate, right? And I'm going to basically tell you some statistics about some of the areas that it has been affected. Now, across 5 regions, 82% of women parliamentarians reported having experienced some form of psychological violence while serving their terms. This included remarks, gestures, and images of a sexist or humiliating sexual nature, threats, and mobbing. Women cited social media as the main channel of this type of violence, and nearly half, which is 44%, reported receiving death, rape, assault, or abduction threats towards them or their families. And a whopping 65% had been subjected to sexist remarks, primarily by male colleagues in Parliament. Now, you see where it is? In Parliament. Now, a global survey showed that 73% of women journalists have experienced online violence. 20% said they have been attacked or abused offline in connection with online violence they had experienced. The reporting theme most often identified in association with heightened attacks was gender, which is a 49%, followed by politics and elections, 44%, and human rights and social policy, which amounts for 31%. Breaking the silence surrounding gender based violence is the first step towards change. Advocacy, education, and supporting organizations that work towards eliminating gender based violence are crucial in creating a safer world for everyone. As we conclude today's video, let's remember that raising awareness is vital in combating gender based violence. Now, I'm going to encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Together, we can contribute to a world where everyone can live free from violence and fear. Thank you for joining us today. I'm encouraging you to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, and until next time, stay informed and compassionate, and it's always love and blessings from me to you.